You might remember back when we were with Kind SBY discussing Random Acts of Kindness Week, those small random gestures that can have a huge ripple effect. So, did you know that recent research indicates that engaging in small daily acts of joy can lead to approximately a 25% increase in your emotional well-being over the course of a week? Spreading joy pays off. So joining us this afternoon, Beth and Dorman. She is the president and CEO of For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I love talking to you. So I'm going to jump right into this and say, how can we balance, and boy, are you a good person to answer this one, how can we balance life's challenges and still make room for joy?
You know, it's really about thinking through the day. It's about planning, and it's about being intentional. That's one of my favorite words. Like, are we intentional about how we are spending our time?
Okay.
And really thinking through, in the moment where there's a bunch of chaos, can we forward plan? You know, you and I, before we went on the air, were talking about the schedule that I keep having 4 teenage boys.
Yeah.
I could get lost in the tasks if I don't take a step back and really plan for looking at, when I'm driving my kids across the shore, what are the moments where we can connect? What are the topics we can talk about? You know, even just having random conversations that fill me with joy is part of being a mom and part of why I love what I do.
Okay, so I guess you could say that might cover the relationships part of my next question, but then what role does community play in joy?
It plays a huge role because we are built as humans to connect. You know, Brene Brown says that our brains are hardwired for connection. So being able to feel seen, heard, and valued, that takes community. And when we are seen, heard, and valued, there's joy. You know, coming in and seeing someone and saying, hi, how are you? How are things happening with you? Giving a hug if someone's a hugger, shaking hands if someone's not. And really being able to know that when we're moving in directions of being offered opportunities to do things in community, are we saying yes for the right reasons? You know, are we saying yes because it fills us with joy? Or are we saying yes because we're feeling obligated? And maybe that's the time where we need to take a step back and say, maybe this isn't something I need to say yes to.
Yeah, okay. All right, let me ask you this. I'm up to here. I'm stressed out. I find myself stuck in sadness. How do I rediscover? How can I spark the joy?
You know, we have to remember that it's individual for everyone. And so for those that may be up to here and in sadness in small moments, it may be just taking a break, putting yourself in timeout. Timeout was designed, you know, in our society to punish people, but really it's about giving our brains a break and giving us time to think, what do I need in this moment to find the community, to find the connection, to find the joy? If someone's listening today and they're saying, I've been stuck there for a long time, then that might be the opportunity that we have to reach out to someone, to be able to seek therapy, to be able to talk to the doctor, to simply say, hey, this has been something that's been happening for quite some time, but we also have to know who we can connect with. You know, we all have different people in our lives, and so if you're finding yourself in overwhelm and sadness, probably not best to call the friend who brings you down. Probably best to call the friend who can help you to either listen or to strategize or come up with options.
Give yourself a reset.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
Okay. Are there little things that we can do on a daily basis that'll help us stay in joy?
Yeah, give ourselves permission to do something for ourselves. It doesn't have to be huge things, but maybe you know, you're listening today and you take a break and you say, okay, things that bring me joy: journaling, a cup of tea, having a quiet cup of coffee in the morning. Maybe it's about calling a friend. Maybe it's texting and just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you today. We have to think what works for us. And as community, we have to stay out of judgment, because what might work for you might not work for me. So we support one another in that, but we have to really be intentional, and we have to give ourselves the space. If, you know, somebody says, I'm gonna do this every day for the next 7 days, and you get to day 5 and you forget, that's fine. Pick it back up on day 6. So really just being able to think about, how can we think about joy that brings us fulfillment. Maybe it shares a smile with someone else, but we've really got to be planning and being intentional about making sure that we're practicing it. Because in the moments where we're up to here and where there's sadness, if we haven't practiced inserting joy, we won't be able to rely on those tools in our toolbox.
Be intentional.
Be intentional.
There you go. Beth and Dorman, thank you so much. It's wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
President and CEO of For All Seasons.